I feel like I would have been living a lie as an entrepreneur if I'm staying for a paycheck.
Yeah, of course.
That's it.
Wow.
And so it was powerful though, and very it just felt like a weight off my shoulders.
What's something you're proud of that most people don't know about?
That's a good question. Now you're going to come into the really good questions. I would say that most people don't know a lot about me as a dad, probably. And so I think it's like, as busy as I am, my kids know the narrative that we're changing, like from how I grew up to how they're growing up. My son's read the book. He's 11. So like that was probably one of the coolest things. Like he was able to ask me questions. Like I could have never like articulated this in just person. Dad, I didn't know that about you. Dad, I didn't know. Oh, that's awesome about art. Like, it was so cool. It's probably the coolest experience of that. Him and my mom and my grandpa, those three reading it was unbelievable. And so I think like every night when they go to bed, they know I tell them I love them and that I'll do anything for them. And we want to continue to grow, to evolve. So it's what I do now is important for them, but it's about their kids and their kids. Like I'm preaching generation stuff because I want it to be passed down. The way that I operate, the principles, like, dude, I'm a huge fan of Andrew Carnegie. So I've read Carnegie's stuff for years and years. And so I want that, like, to be what we do. And so I think that they know I love them. They know I work hard. I'll do anything for them. I don't miss games. I don't miss, like, I'm there, right? And it's like, but also I expect a lot. Like, if you mess up in my house and you're 11, like the other ones haven't got to because they're still young, we run sprints.
Wow.
And I'm on it like a 1970s football coach. Like, if you don't give it to me, like, you run another one.
Yeah.
And I'm out there like, my kid will not be soft.
Wow.
Like, that's real because, like, I didn't do all this to them for the next generation to screw it up. And
they're not going to be a coal miner. They're going to still train like one.
Here's the thing is, I don't want them to experience that. I'd never change. I tell my mom when I wrote this book, Ma, don't ever be sorry for what happened to us because I wouldn't be me if it wasn't. But I need to instill that next generation that they're not super soft. Now, whether they want to be an entrepreneur, a teacher, whatever, I'm going to support them. But, like, there's a certain thing, like, effort is a choice. And so if I see you dogging a ground ball or doing this and I tell you once and you don't do it again, we're running.
Yeah.
And I'm real about that.
I like it, man.
Because effort is a choice.
That's true.
Dude.
That's true, man.
It doesn't matter how old you are.
I'll always pick the guy who gives more effort than anyone else.
Every time.
I don't care if they're the least talented. If they got a little bit of talent and they effort is more than anyone else, like I'll have them on the team.
So I'm preaching that because I think that can help a lot of things if you understand that at a young age.
Sure.
And so like Alex plays soccer, baseball. Madeline's awesome at gymnastics. We're doing handstand contests after dinner, and then my youngest Andon, he's a fireball. He's just getting into sports. He's 5. So it's like we got a real good thing. It's healthy, it's active, cool, it's really cool,
That's
man.
Great, man.
I feel super blessed.
Congrats, man.
Thanks.
What are you most grateful for in your life recently?
Recently, I would say what's been interesting, like, so Andon is back in school, is in school for the first time, so he's 5. So now there's actually, during the day, like, I can have coffee, and I could have done this before, but I'm like, the way I operate, I try to be really, like, when work starts, like, I'm in it. Like, I can have coffee with my wife at 9 a.m., and she doesn't have anywhere to be. Like, I can be wherever I want to be. Nice. They're in school, and we can just have time to us again. And so that's just happened recently because school just started. I'm really grateful for that. That, and honestly, my grandparents are still alive. Like, they're both 90. They've been able to see all this stuff. And lastly, that my mom is my customer service lady. Like, she runs the website, CoryGFitness.com. She's my customer service. This is the highest, like I said, she grinded for years. She makes more at CoryGFitness.com than she did in all the jobs that she had done before. To be able to be like, Mom, I'm about to hire somebody to take care of customer service. If you can learn how to do these little programs, like just answer people, change their debit cards, whatever, and just, I know that you'll have my best interests. I would rather pay you. And she was like, well, I'll come up and you could teach me. And dude, she's killing it.
Wow.
Like 11 o'clock on Sunday. Cares. Because she got my back. She has to be in there on my accounts. And, I need to have somebody I can trust. And like giving her a raise, giving her a bonus, like it's awesome. And the other day I asked her, I'm like, Ma, when you worked at the furniture store, or like, how much did you make a week? And she told him, like, is this the highest paying job you've, like, I didn't even know. She's like, yeah, it's pretty awesome. And I work at home and I work with you. I can talk to you more. And I'm real thankful for all 3 of those things.
That's cool. My mom works with me as well.
So cool, right?
It's pretty fun.
It's amazing. It's actually, it's been really rewarding, man.
That's great, man.
So I think time with Rachel, my mom, and then my grandparents still being alive are both things I'm grateful for every day.
That's cool. This is called the 3 Truths question.
Uh-oh.
So it's your last day.
Sure.
And everything's been erased. your books are deleted and programs, and it's all gone for some reason.
Sure.
But everyone's there. It's a celebration, and they ask you to write down your 3 truths, the 3 things you know to be true about life or your experiences that you would pass on to everyone else. And this is the only thing they would have to live by.
To remember me by or to live by.
Like your principles, your 3 truths that you know to be true. They can't read the book anymore.
I'm nervous. I've been trying to get ready for this one.
What would you say are your 3 truths?
I think I thought about this a little bit because obviously I listened to your podcast, getting ready. Don't settle. Because I think regret is probably one of the worst things that you can die with. And so for me, I could have stayed in that coal mine. I could have, by my standards of what I wanted for myself, lived a mediocre life to some degree in a bunch of different dead-end jobs and never lived my passion. Like, I refused to settle. Even when I was at Musclepharm, like, it had changed. And I was not going to settle. It doesn't matter how big it was. Right. So, like, I think, like, if you're somebody right now that's doing something you don't want to do, don't give in. So I would tell, like, my family, if they're reading these, do not settle just for that. Because what do? You do it for 30 years and then you retire. I mean, it's just, to me, like, and it's going to be scary. I get it. And it takes time. I always say my rap album didn't go platinum overnight. I've been doing this 18 years. But at some points, it doesn't even feel like work at all because I love what I do. And it's changed a little bit over time, but, man, the not settling has driven me forever. And I think that's extremely important. I think second would be have a true daily strategy. Because if you aimlessly just wander through life and you don't have a passion or purpose locked in, like, I realized early that my passion was fitness. That was my way out, you know, and the purpose was to change generations. So it's way bigger than me. And so I think when things become way bigger than you, they don't get old because it wasn't about me. It's about my kids. It's about their kids. And so if I get up at 3, 4 a.m. and, like, I'm tired, like, I'm trying to change, like, family history. It's not just about me. And so, like, the second one was, like, I need a real strategy that's dialed in with those things on my heart every day. And so, like, that's, like, means so much, like, get up at this time, do this, do that. And, like, I just knew if I did that for a long period of time and I was locked into when I was tired, I'm doing this for them. I always say I wanted my grandkids to say Grandpa was a G. I mean, that's exactly what I want them to say. Like, he set us up. He taught us these principles. He changed the generation's tree of blue collar and work 30 years. And it was more like, hey, we can go live our dream of what we want to do. There's always a solution. You know what I mean? And so I would say those are the 2 top ones. Thirdly, like, I would say one thing I got to do better at is really take a deep breath and live in the moment. I think I'm so focused on what's next all the time. Like, just to sit here on this podcast and go, wow, I'm on Lewis Howell's podcast right now.
Before I ask the final question, I want to acknowledge you for a moment, Cory, for your incredible persistency, for your commitment, your dedication. I don't know anyone else who's so dedicated to their routine than you.
Thanks, man.
I know Steve is pretty dedicated.
Steve's on there too.
He's pretty dedicated, but you were like at a I don't know, an army sergeant or something. Like, every morning there's always a video of you at a certain time working heavy, doing heavy weights, not just talking about it, doing it.
Yep.
And you live by the routine and the principles. You don't just think it's good to talk about. I mean, it's such an inspiration to see someone living it to the T the way you do with the kids, with the healthy lifestyle, with the wife, with the businesses, like everything that you're doing, and you're uplifting people. It's really inspiring to see that you're making a difference in the world. So I appreciate and acknowledge that.
Love it.
Yeah, man. Final question. What's your definition of greatness?
So it's funny because it's changed over time. I always say, like, when I was at the personal training studio making 6 figures, driving a late 90s Mercedes, I thought, to me, that was like success. And I knew that I was like, if I would have stopped there, I don't think anybody would have said I was great, but I kind of won in my mind, right? So greatness to me is leaving your mark to such a degree that when I'm like, that's why I love writing books and doing these things, is that, like, you have a mark on the industry that you were there, whatever that is for you. And so, like, Arnold is obviously ultimate greatness is the way I look at him. And I'm trying to think, like, can I impact enough people? Because when I quit chasing money and started developing people, my life changed completely. And can I impact enough people in my niche? and go beyond that niche too, to where people are like, I want to be like Cory when I get into. Bill Phillips was great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to be like Bill Phillips.
Right.
I want to be that next generational guy that the kid that's 20 years old wants to be like me. And that I've displayed, like what you just said, what it really took. It's not a phantom. I got the Bentley with the bottle of shit. Like, no, I'm deadlifting 500 pounds at 3:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
That's what got me there. Like, I want them to know that you don't have to be the biggest, the fastest, the strongest, that I didn't have a silver spoon in my mouth, that I didn't do, like, but I wanted it more than everybody else. And when there was a roadblock, I either climbed I dug a hole under the wall, I went over it, I went sideways, I went through it.
Yeah.
There's always a solution.